Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker. You have picked a great week to join us, especially if you're a longtime viewer of the show and you've been kind of longing for some of those things that we used to do. So we're getting a little old school here in the opening. I had self-mandated that I wouldn't talk about a certain subject anymore, but the material's just too good this time around. Certainly don't like the way that Justin Bieber has been conducting himself, but this is sort of ironic. Even his wax likeness has gotten into some semblance of trouble. According to the Madame Tussauds location in New York, the wax figure of Bieber that they put in the museum just over 3 years ago has gotten to the point where it's deteriorated because everybody's been touching it. They've been groping it. Basically, they've groped this statue to death. So they're removing that one. At some point, evidently, they're going to bring back a newer one that'll show the newer Bieber, which isn't the one that we like to talk about. Speaking of groping something to death, I don't know if that was necessarily the case, but I mean, take a look at this belt. All of a sudden on Saturday, a belt just completely falls apart. So what's the first thought to me? Hey, what belt do I have to replace that one? How about this one right here? Oh yeah. Got to tell you though, not so good for keeping the pants up. It's not meant for that. But it does remind me that this week's show is all about champions and prospective champions. Before we're through in wrestling, the 4A, 3A North Region champs to talk about, who are looking to make it a state dual meet championship before the week was over, and aspiring champions for the upcoming county wrestling tournament. Also on the docket, a couple of men who have perfectly functioning belts, as far as I know. A couple of coaches, one who's already won a regular season championship and one who won the tournament championship last year, whose team is trying to repeat this year. They'll both be here at the same time. I'll explain as the show goes along. And coming back, the first state champions of the winter sports season from indoor track and field. Pictures and descriptions from Monday's action in the 1A, 2A events right after this on Inside Sports.
Behind every great child, there is a great foundation. Premier Martial Arts will empower your child and give them a premier foundation to success. Our instructors have the passion to teach classes designed to build premier skills. Your child will develop greater self-control, confidence, and concentration. Premier Martial Arts will take your child up the path of greatness. Call Premier Martial Arts today.
Welcome back to the show. At the State Indoor Track and Field Championships on Monday, the questions for the county were whether the old 1A could become the new 2A, and if so, would that open the door for the county to still own 1A? I start with Exhibit 1 from 2A, where the two-time defending 1A state champion girls from Boonesboro now reside. Largo entered as the defending champ there, but old Boonesboro nemesis Western Tech, who finished as Class 1A runners-up last year to the Warriors, had also joined the new bigger girls fray that already included the likes of Liberty, Middletown, and Oakdale, who finished second, third, and fourth respectively 9 days earlier at the 2A West region meet. Coming off an encouraging fifth-place finish at those regionals, Boonesboro believed it was on the springboard that would launch it to the top of the rarefied air of 2A. The Warriors would try everything, including attempting to get an early jump, but they seemingly couldn't keep from getting caught. Just like at regionals, Megan Grams raced to the lead in the 1600, but failed to hold off Liberty's Sarah Reinhart, who set a new 2A record in winning the event. And despite Boonesboro's 2-3 finish of Haley Wright and Grams behind her, it was one of several times the Warriors were on the scent, only to have victory elude them. And even a win wasn't a win. Boonesboro prevailed in its heat in the 4x400 relay, but still finished third behind Largo and Western Tech, one of the meet-leading 3 W's for Largo. As for the Warriors, they wouldn't be denied in the 55 hurdles, where the two-time defending Class 1A title holder proved that her game is just as good at the next level, if not better. Maggie Sullivan blew away the field in 8.47 seconds, her margin of victory a full 0.2 of a second, as she turned her perfect season in her marquee event into a golden one before sharing the love with her fellow competitors with hugs all around, and then doing perhaps the only thing that might have truly surprised her coach, Becky Walter, who pretty much knows what she can expect performance-wise from Sullivan. As great a scene as it was, unfortunately for Boonesboro, it was the only victory celebration of the afternoon. The Warriors ended up just 2 points out of fourth, but 24 off the pace of the team that made a super successful championship transition from 1A to 2A, Western Tech, whom Boonesboro bested last year by 17.5 points. As for the boys, the Warriors wound up 8th with their best result coming in the 4x200 relay, where the all-senior team of Devin Fairhall, Ben Hara, Clayton Myers, and Vaughn Wallace finished second behind Largo. Frederick Douglass captured its second championship in the last 3 years, supplanting Century by 5 points. In 1A, Smithsburg's boys ended up third a year ago behind Pikesville and Boonesboro. With Boonesboro out of the picture now, Coach Ray Shriver's guys seem poised to make a run back to the top of the summit they enjoyed in 2012. But the outlook became murky when their key performer, Caleb Cardone, didn't look comfortable early in the day's second event. Cardone, who was seated second in the 300, not only failed to vie for the win, he struggled to an out-of-the-points 9th place finish caused by a left hamstring tweak that left the rest of his day dubious at best. Without Cardone, whom the Leopards counted on for big points, their day was equally in doubt. But Dan Pastwa, who along with Garrett Gaffier combined to score 9 points in the subsequent event, the 500, explains what happened from there.
Everyone stepped up. It was incredible to see everyone go outside their normal performance and just destroy. It was awesome. I don't think there was a single person that didn't perform or best what they were supposed to do. And it was great to help Caleb out because he's always there for us, and it was just great as a team for everyone to do so well.
And that total team effort included a silver medal winning performance in the 55 hurdles by Kyle Ebersol, who credits a season's worth of leaning on each other for Monday's payoff.
To do this today, it took a lot of hard work all through the season. Our coaches pushed us all the way. In the past couple of weeks, we really had to work hard and we had to help each other be able to do the work. I know some of the workouts for myself, I don't like running all that much, so it's hard for me to do these workouts, and it's really nice because these guys were always there to push me, and we push each other and help each other out when we were trying to achieve our goals.
And it didn't hurt that Cardone found the intestinal fortitude to battle through his injury to finish, for him, a disappointing second in the 55 dash, remarkably missing by just 0.14 of a second, and although it was painful for him in more than one way, it was still worth 8 big points to the team. The senior then turned around and out threw everybody, heaving the shot put 41 feet 5 inches to add 10 more points to the final team total of 79.5, 4.5 more than second place Pikesville, to give Smithsburg its second 1A boys state title in the last 3 years. And it wasn't lost on Coach Shriver how much every point counted and what it took to get it done on Monday. Oh, and congratulations.
Thanks, Wes. It was a great season. And a fantastic group of boys. Culmination today really was a coming together of everybody. The entire team contributed. We had so many heroes, so many unsung heroes, like Caleb Cardone. Everyone expected him to do well. Tweaks his hamstring, still comes back and does well in the 55, wins the shot put. Taylor Whitted scores in the pole vault after spending most of yesterday throwing up at home, and was able to finally get some food down and come here and contribute. And so many more that it's just hard to mention. All of the guys that you just talked to that won medals, but then you have all the guys that scored and got ribbons, and that's really where you win it. It takes everybody. Everybody stepped up. We had so many great performances, it's hard to single out any more than that. Coaching staff did a great job getting everybody prepared, and we're just very excited.
Speaking of being excited, I asked Stephen Rochelle if being a 2-time state champ had sunk in just yet.
Not quite. It hasn't quite hit me yet, but it's coming for sure. Yeah, it'll hit me on the bus ride home. I won't sleep a wink, but it'll be fun.
And there's nothing more fun than leaving the Prince George's Sports and Learning Complex in late February with a win. I asked the proud coach what word he would use to sum this one up.
Satisfied. Satisfied that the kids had a goal in front of them and they were able to accomplish it. And that just makes me feel wonderful. Great for them.
And as much as he lauded the boys' victory, he lamented the girls' fourth-place finish, telling me afterwards that he'd love to get one of those state championships for them. They came close on Monday on a tight standings board. Pikesville won with 70 points, but Manchester Valley was just 4 back, North Carroll was 6 behind, and the Leopards missed by just 9. Emma Gerhold had the best all-around day for Smithsburg. Gerhold not only defended her title in the pole vault, clearing 9 feet 6 inches, a winning margin of 1 foot. The senior also came in third in the 55 hurdles and led the Leopards runner-up 4x800 relay finish to leave with a medal of every color. Another reason Smithsburg wasn't shabby was junior Gabby Reason. Seemed like a good idea. She dusted the field in the 55-meter dash to claim her first indoor gold, and she placed third in the 300, good for a bronze and 6 more team points. The Leopard girls improve on 6th place finishes each of the last 2 years. And with that, indoor track and field becomes the first winter sport to crown state champions. The county still had a handful of athletes in competition on Tuesday at the 3A meet. Those results coming next week. Next up, 2 basketball coaches whose respective teams will be vying for a conference tournament title this week. Join me to talk postseason hoops right after this.
Honey, I just got the mail. We got 6 new bills today.
We don't have enough money.
Mommy, will we still get to live in our house?
It may be time to consider bankruptcy. Call Bodie Law. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family.
Injured on the job? Been denied compensation? Need money for medical bills and lost wages? Know your rights. Insurance companies have lawyers, and so should you. Protect yourself. Call Bodie Law, your Hagerstown legal team, for help at 888-823-1255. It's what we do for you that counts.
Antietam Cable is proud to bring you Through a Veteran's Eye, a show for veterans, families of veterans, and friends of veterans. This unique show focuses on local, state, and national programs that support veterans' health and welfare and helps to provide avenues for applying for veterans' benefits and where to go for help. Through a Veteran's Eye can be seen on HMTV 6 and also on WCL TV 30, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Simply put, it's our way of saying thanks to all of you as veterans for what you've done for this great nation. Welcome home.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We continue now with basketball, and a couple of private school basketball coaches join me now. Familiar faces to many, Bernie Klutz of Broad Fording Christian Academy and Mike Kidd of Heritage Academy. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for being here. I was a little afraid I might have to sit between you two, but you seem to be pretty well behaved. Everything's okay?
Good so far.
Okay.
So far.
Yeah. Well, we'll revisit that before the segment's over.
Sure.
Coach Klutz, let me begin with you because it's been a great season for your team so far. 20 victories to this point and unbeaten in the MDCC, so the regular season champions for a second consecutive year. Tournament ready to begin this week. Last year, Heritage won the tournament. You guys kind of got tripped up a little bit in that. What did you learn from last year's tournament that will help you this year?
Never, ever overlook an opponent. Short and sweet. We were without a starting guard. Monty Anderson had some academic woes, was not able to participate, but we simply did not make up for his loss in the ways that we should, and Shalom took care of business.
Well, we found out in the Super Bowl that it's oftentimes difficult for a favorite to win and certainly be the favorites going in. Tell me a little bit about the way this season has unfolded for you, because when it all began, you were trying to replace some pieces from last year. You certainly have some size on your side, but how has this team come together as the season's gone along?
Wes, we've progressed nicely since the start of the season. We've had to incorporate, I believe, 9 new players to our team this year. And several of whom had not played together previously. So we've been a work in progress, we always are, but I think in the last few weeks or the last month, we've started to gel and are now playing more as a team and more effectively.
Well, every good coach asks for their team to get better as the season goes along. And Coach Kidd, I think you've seen that out of your team too. 7 consecutive wins as you head into the tournament now. And your team has been a little bit challenged, I think, from a depth standpoint this season. How have you been able to compensate for that?
Well, our kids know going in that they're going to have to play a lot of minutes, and not that they can take any possessions off, but we work them hard in practice. We have to be play smart, stay out of foul trouble, and just work hard throughout. Again, it's, you know, the expectation is we're going to play hard for 32 minutes and, you know, not have an excuse that we don't have depth or, you know, somebody's not feeling well. We just, you know, have to play through it.
What's impressed you the most about what your team has been able to do so far this season?
Well, I think our kids have done a great job of accepting roles because, you know, we do have, you know, Bernie's got 9 new kids, he said. I think we have 9 kids. The fact is that they have to accept those roles. They step up and they've done that. You know, whether it's, you know, okay, we're not maybe the main scorer, we're not going to get a lot of shots, but we're going to, you know, handle the ball. We're going to play the good defense. We're going to, you know, be on the boards, on the floor after loose balls, and understanding, you know, who should be maybe taking more of those shots or, you know, situational things.
And your Eagles haven't lost a game since January 28th. That came against Coach Klutz's team. How do you prepare for this tournament now? Because obviously, you know, this is something you're familiar with. It's a potential one-and-done situation. Right. What type of importance do you put on this tournament?
Well, first of all, we know that it's a stepping stone, you know, a process. And tonight, you know, our focus has been on tonight's game. We can't even look forward to, you know, go beyond that. That's how, you know, we get tripped up, and we need to take care of business tonight. And after tonight's game, if we're still playing, then we'll, you know, find out who the next opponent is and prepare for them.
Coach Klutz, your team has won 13 games in a row. Does that scare you a little bit as a coach, 13
yes.
consecutive victories?
Yes, Wes, it actually does. It makes me very uneasy.
Actually, it scares the other coaches a lot more that have to play.
I can't, well, you're being kind. But yeah, Wes, you know, I think an axiom in sports that it's very difficult to beat a team 3 times in a year. And if we're to succeed in this tournament, that's what we'll have to do each game.
Yeah, no matter who it is.
No matter who it is.
Right.
And the other coaches, Coach Kidd, Coach Shank, all the coaches in the league have done just a fine job with their teams. And we've been impressed at Broad Fording with the elevation in each team's game as we play them a second time. So yes, we're uneasy, but anxious,
yeah,
and ready to get going.
But it's a good position to be in, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
And Coach Kidd mentioned players having to accept roles on the team. Can you talk a little bit about that from your team's standpoint? Because certainly that's something that's helped your guys get better.
It certainly is. Wes, our 2 guards, we have 3 primary guards, if you will, Price, Daniels, and Anderson. Those 3 fellows have each sacrificed in some way, shape, or form a part of their game for the betterment of the team this season. We've had to incorporate, if you will, 2 or 3 big men. Therefore, the ball must get inside. Not as much as we would have liked to this point, but that's meant some role acceptance on the part of those 3 guards. And I think they've accepted their roles willingly and with the good of the team in mind.
And when you say big men, you're talking guys who are 6'7", 6'6". Coach Kidd, you have the luxury of Alex Cosner, who's 6'4", but by my math, he's 2 to 3 inches shorter than those guys. But you know, can you talk a little bit about Alex and the career that he's had for you? Because last season he averaged a double-double. Not quite as many rebounds this year, but still certainly the cornerstone of your team.
Well, Alex has done a great job through his 4 years at Heritage, and he's progressed well. Didn't play much as a freshman, but then all of a sudden really elevated his game as a sophomore, and was first team as a sophomore and MDCC Player of the Year last year. So he's made great progress. This year, I think we've been a little more well-rounded and found scoring in different areas, so Alex hasn't had to score as much, but of course his leadership and defense rebounding is very critical to us, and so he continues to help us out in even different ways at this point in his career.
If I may just
yes, sir.
interrupt. in my humble opinion, and unasked for as well, I realize, but I think Alex Cosner is one of the top players in this area, public school or private school. He's on a level with the best, and credit to Coach Kidd's teaching, his tutelage, and Alex, I know, is just a tremendously hard worker, just a fine player.
And since I have you both here, if there should be another matchup between you two, Coach, you mentioned it, beating a team 3 times in 1 year, especially a high caliber team like Heritage. What will that take? What type of effort from your team?
We will have to match or exceed Heritage's intensity and their aggressiveness and their simply their desire to win.
Coach Kidd, your team's played probably 6 good quarters against Coach Klutz's. It's been 1 quarter in each of those games this season. What will it take for your team to get over the hump should you meet the Lions again?
Well, obviously you make a good point. It's going to take 4 quarters of very good basketball. We have to play at a very high level and with great intensity. And we would like it if Broad Fording was not shooting the ball, well, which, both games they've shot the ball very well against us. And
they've loved to shoot that 3 too, haven't
they? At first I thought, well, maybe they're just on that night. And now after 2 games of seeing it, I'm wondering, okay, maybe our defense isn't what it needs to be. We need to do a better job in some areas, and well, I know that's true. But we do need to play 4 full quarters of good basketball.
Well, should that come to fruition, I'm sure there will be plenty of people there who will be interested in the outcome of that one. Both of you, thank you very much for being here today. Certainly appreciate it, and best of luck throughout the rest of the season, the tournament, and beyond.
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you, Mike.
I'll be back right after this. I've got some wrestling to talk about, and we'll wrap up the show for this week in just a moment.
At Murray's Tire and Auto, we were here for you then and we're here for you now. While the way we look might have changed over the years, the quality of the work you've come to count on remains the same. From preventive maintenance services to emissions repairs, major and minor mechanical work, new tire sales and service using state-of-the-art equipment, and Murray's always provides full service at no additional charge. Plus, Murray's gives you a second chance to win on all lottery purchases. Enjoy old-fashioned service with all the modern conveniences at Murray's Tire and Auto, still here for you at the corner of Sunset Avenue and Artisan Street in Williamsport.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. In wrestling, North Hagerstown's pursuit of its first ever state title continued last Wednesday in the 4A, 3A region duels at Hub Arena. 4 schools entered with championship hopes, but by 5 o'clock, just 2 still entertained them. Urbana advanced to the finals with a victory over Franklin, and top-seeded North Hagerstown joined the Hawks there with a dominant win over Perry Hall. The Hubs then started the championship finals right where they had left off in the semis, by jumping out to a 3-0 lead on the strength of Hunter Faith's 5-0 decision in the 132-pound opener. After suffering a setback at 138 by major decision, North forged back in front at 145 when Gene Balsita added 6 points to his team's total by recording a pin 23 seconds into the second period, putting the Hubs on top 9-4. Dylan Brown followed at 152 and proceeded to pitch the second North shutout in the match's first 4 bouts. Although he was clearly after more than a 4-0 decision, his victory stretched the Hubs' advantage to 8. Brendan Colbert was up next at 160 and simply put on a mat clinic. The school's and the county's all-time wins leader added a decisive one to his dossier by scoring a lopsided 21-6 tech fall that pushed the North Hagerstown margin to 17-4. Following a loss at 170, the Hub Express hopped right back on the rails when Ray Montez took just a minute and 53 seconds to register North's second pinfall, capturing the 182-pound bout, much to Coach Slick's approval, to open up a 23-7 lead. That brought up J.D. McCoy at 195, who was all about extending that edge and was all about doing it quickly. McCoy expended little wasted energy in securing North's 6th win in the match's first 8 encounters. McCoy's pin, a mere 30 seconds in, put the Hubs in control 29-7 with just 6 bouts remaining. But everything changed, and it changed in a hurry in the very next matchup. After forging a commanding 6-0 lead in his 220-pound showdown, Aaron Dobson miscalculated, and Urbana's Andres Silva pounced and pinned Dobson with 47 seconds left in the third period, resuscitating a Hawks team that looked to be fading. The improbable turn of events served as the catalyst for the 3 consecutive Urbana victories that followed and narrowed the Hubs' advantage to 29-28. Clinging to that 1-point lead, North sent out Antonio DeCastro at 1:20 in an attempt to restore order and regain its lost momentum with just 2 bouts to go. DeCastro made it the distance, but fell short in a pivotal decision that pushed Urbana ahead for the first time since 4-3 at 31-29, meaning that it all came down to one final mano a mano to decide the region champ. The 126-pound For All the Marbles finale pitted Urbana's Tyler McCosey against the Hub's Isaiah Brooks, a rematch of a Hub Cup semifinal from back in January, won by McCosey in the closing seconds. With the drama dial already turned up to 100, Brooks promptly fell behind 2-0, and he and his North teammates had to be wondering if this was how their undefeated streak was going to end. But Brooks shrugged off the immense pressure to even things at 2 with 24 seconds to wrestle in the opening period. Then, trailing 3-2 with less than a minute left in the third period, and the 4-time defending North Region title holders from Urbana ready to celebrate a monumental comeback, the North Hagerstown Junior got the takedown he and the Hubs needed to take a 4-3 lead with 41 seconds showing on the clock. What had to seem like an eternity for Brooks and the Hubs on a night where nothing had come easy, a night on which they were attempting to avoid snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And in the end, this team that has seemed destined, has seemed to conjure a magic when they've needed it, got just what they needed from Isaiah Brooks to come back and then hold on, all in the same bout, to secure a heart-pounding 33-32 North Region Championship win. Afterwards, I caught up with head coach Greg Slick, who deferred to assistant coach Joe Hawkins to do the talking. I asked Coach Hawkins to expound on Brooks' region title-clinching effort.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. And that was a rematch. He had lost to that kid at Hub Cup, and we knew it was going to be a big match coming in, but we never realized the whole dual meet was going to be on the line. And I know he's feeling good about himself right now.
Actually, Coach, he was a bit reserved and matter-of-fact, although his smile said it all.
I just want to win the match.
Another shirtless North Hagerstown wrestler? First J.D. McCoy, now Isaiah Brooks. What's become of the show? As for the Hubs' fate, they were to wrestle for the 4A, 3A state dual championship Wednesday night. North, the number 2 seed, was to face 3rd-seeded Huntingtown in one semi, while 4th-seeded River Hill squared off against the top seed Damascus in the other one. The winners were then to go head-to-head for the state prize. Now, the county spoils will be on the line this Saturday as North Hagerstown, Boonesboro, Smithsburg, South Hagerstown, and Williamsport all gather for the 24th annual county wrestling tournament. Williamsport comes in a school record 21-3 and is the defending champion. The Wildcats have won 4 of the last 5 county events and a tourney record 10 overall, while the host Hubs have to be considered the favorite this year. It's been tough to separate North and Williamsport over the years. 12 times in the tournament's 23, the two have finished 1-2 in one order or the other, and this time is likely to be no different. Williamsport returns 5 defending champions. North Hagerstown brings back 4 and Smithsburg 1. 6 wrestlers in the 30-win club will be in action. 5 of them are Hubs, led by 34-1 J.D. McCoy at 182 and 33-0 3-time county champ Brendan Colbert. Williamsport's Justin Beckley, the defending champion at 113, enters Saturday with a record of 31-1. 8 more wrestlers come in with 25 wins or more this season, highlighted by 29 match winners Dalton Hawkins of Boonesboro, who could ultimately face 31-2 Hunter Faith of North at 132. Hawkins got the best of Faith at the Hub Cup, and Williamsport's St. John Shoup, who could see 31-4 defending champ Gene Balsita of North in the 145-pound final. Balsita defeated Shoup to win at 138 last year. The Clyde Downs Trophy will be up for grabs starting at 11 Saturday morning at North Hagerstown. Next week, the show and tell of what went down on the mats on Pennsylvania Avenue, plus the basketball playoff draws and much more. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you then on the inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Hey, don't complain to mother, they hiding under cover, you gotta get up.